All right. So I'm making this video because I want to give a bit of an update about my life and what's going on with me currently. Right now, technically I work for First Transit, which is a transportation company, and I work as a paratransit driver, delivering, or not delivering, but transporting people with disabilities. And that job is in flux at this moment, and the reason for that is so what happened was basically I admitted some suicidal ideation that I've had in the past, and some of the suicidal attempts that I've had in the past to one of my passengers, and that is a no-no. That is against policy. You're not supposed to have personal discussions with passengers regarding personal issues. If the passenger discusses personal things, you're supposed to kind of steer the argument away from those personal sharing. And that also goes for things like religious topics and politics. And I usually ignore that policy, and this time it has been to my detriment because the passenger was very concerned. They felt helpless when I talked to them about my personal issues. And so what they did was they reported me to my management, and the management became concerned about any suicidal feelings I might have, and so now I have to get an evaluation. And in some ways I have been upset about this because I would like things to go, I'd like business to continue as usual. I'd like to just keep working my job and keep trying to eke out an existence and just keep trying in the way that I have been trying. But as they say, I don't know if it's Einstein who said it or whatever, but insanity is trying to do the same thing over and over again and hoping for a different result. And that's really what I have been doing. I've been trying to do the same thing over and over again and hoping that things will just change on their own. So in some ways I appreciate what's going on in my life right now, because I've been, for about a week and a half, I've been off work, and it's been an opportunity for me to reflect and see how low a state I am actually in. One thing that has happened over the course of this week and a half is I've been putting on weight very quickly. I usually hover around 285 pounds, and now I'm probably about 300 to 305. I haven't weighed myself, but it's just kind of, from what I know about myself and in the past, and how I see myself at this point, how I look, I'm really kind of getting bigger, and I never really thought I'd go beyond 300, but I have in the past, but it's only been for a brief period of time. But yeah, that's definitely happening, and I'm hoping it's not going to be permanent. But I can't. There's little things that I hate, like my arm. There's fat everywhere, and this fat kind of rolls onto my chest fat, and it's like this little flab that I can notice if I ever look down. Anyway, it's just little things like that that are mildly upsetting. I don't know if this is helpful to anyone. Let me get to the parts of what I wanted to say that I think might be helpful to people. I might be moving to another state. I don't enjoy living in Chicago, Illinois. I feel like I have some racist feelings. I don't want to go into that too much. I think it's something that I need to look into definitely, but if I were to start talking about it, I would get into all these things, and that's not what I want to say at this point. But suffice it to say that I think when other people when someone is called racist, I think it can be used in such a way to bring them down and to hurt them instead of help them. And I think there's more to it. I think the way that people deal with each other is rarely a way in which they want to help them. Like, it's good to tell the truth, but it's good to do it with compassion, I suppose. But you know, I don't know that if I might get into this, and I would lose the opportunity to say other things that I've been wanting to say. So let me just say that some of what I just said could be wizardry. When I say wizardry, I mean I'm like spinning a yarn. I'm telling a tale. I'm conjuring a spell, so that you believe that I'm good, that I'm on the up and up when I'm not. Okay, so let me just dispel that, and you know, that's the beauty of telling the truth, is that, you know, if I tell the truth from my perspective, or what I think is true, to someone else, they can see, you know, using their discernment, where my failings are. Anyway, sorry, that's not really what I've been wanting to talk about. What I want to say is that I don't enjoy living in Chicago, Illinois. Even if I didn't live in a predominantly black neighborhood, which I do right now, I still probably wouldn't enjoy the experience of living in this city. I don't like that I'm not around trees and animals and wildlife. My heart yearns for something that's more like the countryside. So one of the places I've been thinking of going is Kentucky. And if I go to Kentucky, I won't have very much to bring with me. I'll probably get rid of much of the stuff that I have. One quick word about minimalism. You know, some people might say that I'm a minimalist. I have a bed. I have 2 dinky chairs that I only bought because a friend was coming over and he said he wouldn't come to see me unless I had at least chairs. I don't have a table. I usually eat laying down, which is clearly a bad habit. But you know, I don't have very many things, and yet, you know, some people say I'm a minimalist, and maybe I'm helping the environment. I think there's something good to say about minimalism if you know, if you're not just hoarding possessions. There's something good to say about that. But I do believe that there's, you know, a more nefarious truth to why the minimalist is, you know, choosing that lifestyle. And that is that they don't want to clean up after themselves. Just laying it straight out, you know, just being honest with you. I actually got this insight from a video that I watched of a famous minimalist in, I believe, Japan. If not, it was some other Southeast Asian country. But I think, just like every truth, just like many truths, it's a hard truth to swallow. But I can see how that's definitely true for me. And I guess this actually leads me to my next thing that I want to say, is I don't want to take care of myself. I want other people to take care of me. I want people to take responsibility for my life. And it's definitely something that I understand comes out of me. I've had to face the fact that it's something that comes out of me. I often will walk onto a bus, okay, in the neighborhood that I'm in. I'm on my way to work. And when I step on the vehicle, everyone inside of the vehicle is black. They all have dark skin, okay? They're all, to some degree, they have African American or African ancestry, African heritage. And I'll often get this feeling of like the energy sinking in the vehicle, and I'll feel like black people don't like me. They don't seem to like me, and I've had to ask myself, is that them or is that me? And while I think there may be some level of judgment and some level of animosity from black people towards someone like myself, I have to acknowledge that there's a mixed bag. Even saying mixed bag is like excusing it, so I don't want to say that. There is animosity coming from me. There is, what it really is, what I think it is, it's judgment. So maybe I'll get into a little bit here. I don't like how I see many black people from the Chicago area littering. I don't like how they seem to ignore traffic courtesies. Like, there's a lot of jaywalking, which I don't personally think is a bad thing, but I think it's bad when you're ignorant of, a car having to put on their brakes in order to not hit you. It would be nice to move a little bit quicker if you are able, and it's little things like that which I don't feel like there's much of an excuse for. And instead of seeing that and having some compassion for that, or trying to understand why that might be, I have judgment for that. So it's things like that. That's part of why I believe I'm racist. I'm very hard on other people, and I'm very hard on myself internally. So that's definitely a huge issue that I have. And I have a lot of judgment. I'm a very judgmental person. But what I wanted to get on to say was there's this energy that exudes from my person out at the world. And part of that energy is judgment towards other people. This is stuff I'm all learning from the Divine Truth Teachings. So if you're asking me if you're wondering where I'm getting this, it's from the Divine Truth Teachings. And yes, I'm not able to completely prove it, but that doesn't mean that it isn't a good explanation for, the phenomenon I see in my life every day. In fact, I think there's a high probability that it is true. So that's why I follow, I walk in that direction. But yeah, there's energy that exudes from me out at the world. And a lot of that is, my addictions, my anger, my animosity, my hatred, my resentment, my judgment. So what I found about myself is that I don't want to take care of myself. And that is an addiction that I have, a demand that I have on the world. that the world actually takes care of me. And when they're not doing that, I'm upset. And now you might ask, Theo, how can you say that when you have a full-time job and you have been taking care of yourself? Well, the reason I say that is because I'm attracting an event here very shortly where I think I will be homeless again. And of course I can do everything I can to find work and try and keep my apartment. That would be the way to keep myself from being homeless. And perhaps I should. Perhaps that's what I should do. There's a cup factory where they make drinking cups. And I actually worked there. I did temporary work there. And it's probably like $11 an hour, which I honestly don't want to stoop myself to very much. But I could go there. I could try and find work over there. I don't see that happening. Whether that happens or not, the fact remains that I have this addictive need. There's probably a lot more that I can say about that, but I'm going to leave that there. The other thing that I want to say is that I've realized how very angry I am, and how, you know, this anger means that I can't deal with my deeper issues. So, not only do I have a lot of addictions that keep me from feeling the emotions that could heal me, namely my fear and my sadness, but I have a great deal of anger. I would say it's rage, just a deep rage. And I've known this for some time, but what is new for me to learn, and how have I come to this? But what's new for me to learn is that there's just a great, no, it's not just that. It's like the level of animosity, the level of hatred that I have for my fellow man, for my fellow brothers and sisters on this earth, is actually a lot deeper than I thought. And I would say that I've spent my life trying to ignore that. Trying to ignore the fact that I hate people. Saying that out loud is like, it's really something. I mean, because I've been trying to, I have false beliefs that cover the truth of that. I work very hard to pretend that's not true by finding and holding on to false beliefs and gathering people around me who will tell me otherwise, that I'm not so bad. I get a lot of people telling me that I'm not so bad. And I think that's actually, strangely, I'm able to hear that and pretty much feel that they don't know what they're talking about. And I don't say that to try and be nasty, but, you know, I really think that people that want to, if you talk to someone about some issues that you're going through, and they say, you know, it's not that bad, don't worry about it, that's not conducive, that's not helpful. So, you know, so I actually have, let me see, normally I can only record up to 22 minutes and 15 seconds with my phone. It's a weird thing on my phone. I might stop the recording and start up again. Yeah, I think I'll do that. I'll just make this a part 1. But if I can close out this argument, I guess in my next video I'd like to talk about how I realized that I have anger towards people. that I not only have anger, but it's like animosity and hatred. So I'm going to close out this video here.